I'm getting that feeling that I should go on a rant about something to kind of fill some of the silence. What could I talk about? What's on my mind this week? I have a whole thing planned. For those of you who do follow me on Twitter, I do get a little political on there sometimes. Just a smidge. And I don't even know if I really actually would consider it political. Because I don't think the last 4 years has really been about politics. Politics is bureaucracy. It's boring. It's dry. It's not supposed to be glamorous. It's not supposed to be shocking. Which is why I always thought politics was stupid, you know? And it is. Don't get me wrong. It's very dumb. But what we've seen in the last 4 years, you can't just write it off as like, I don't like it. I don't like politics, so I'm just not going to talk about it. So I do engage in that kind of stuff on Twitter a little bit. Mostly it's just me like yelling into the void, I guess. This is way too much of a... Oh, hang on, sorry. That's way too much of a... No. There we go. There we go. That was way too much of a hype sound for this particular talk. That's better. Much better. So, I engage in that kind of stuff on Twitter a little bit, but it's mostly me just trying to express frustrations I have with how people have polarized things that don't need to be polarizing, like a certain pandemic. If you would have asked me, what is it going to take for the United States to actually be, like, united? I would have told you one of two things. The first thing would be a war. And that's unfortunate because I don't want war. I'm a pacifist. I really am. I'll play war games and stuff, and that's fine. And I understand that sometimes war is inevitable, as they say. But generally, I think we should not go to war. I don't think that's a crazy position to take. No do war. War bad. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. But so the other thing I would have probably said, because I don't want to wish war on us, I would have probably said, something like, something that could give us a common enemy that isn't a war, isn't another person. Maybe something like a virus or a disease, something faceless that we can all kind of rally behind and fight. And that's not what happened. It instantly became political. It instantly became left versus right. It instantly became about me and my rights and how I'm mildly inconvenienced by something. And so one side takes the side of like, well, you know, you need to, I'm sorry you're mildly inconvenienced, but you need to take this seriously. And the other side wanted to downplay it. So I would have thought that something like this is what would unite us. But there's so much disinformation and there's so much people pretending like they're experts in a field that they know nothing about, just so that they can feel superior when they say they don't want to wear a mask. Like, that's bonkers to me. That's madness. So I don't know. I truly don't know what would actually unite us anymore. Because I think we had a perfect situation where we could have been united, and we chose not to be. We chose our own pride and arrogance over caring about other people, over caring about people who you disagree with, caring about people who are like at most at risk for this. Nope, we'd rather scream about how our rights are taken away because we've been asked, very nicely asked, to wear a mask, to wear a piece of cloth over our face. So I say all this. This wasn't going to be a COVID thing, sorry. But I say all this just to say that, like, that's not political. And it's probably one of the biggest things I've talked about on my Twitter is just the hypocrisy of people who aren't taking this thing seriously, and the previous administration who just completely dropped the ball. And I'm supposed to sit here and pretend like he didn't drop the ball. Like that it's the other side, it's the left's fault. And I just can't do that. I can't. It's not right. So, what was my original point? My original point is that oops, getting hooked up all in my mic here. My point is that I get a little bit political on my Twitter. And somebody mentioned something about this in another stream not that long ago, not in a bad way, but in like a man, you really really go for it on Twitter. And it's like, yeah, I do. I mean, I try to remain civil. It's mostly about people who say they stand for one thing, and then because I didn't vote for the person they wanted me to vote for, now I'm somehow like the enemy, right? But these types of conversations are what I want to do in creative conversations and in other places. Talk about those hard topics that, you know, some people just want to shy away from. Oh, I remember. Ding. I remember what my original point was. Is that what we experienced in the last 4 years is not super political. Because the politics stuff is the filibustering and the campaigning and just all these hoops you have to go through in order to get things done. That's politics. And I think we're probably finally getting back to that. Where, it's going to be left versus right, and the right isn't going to let the left get anything significant done. The left won't let the right get anything significant done. Something that can't be just completely undone. This is too hype, too. Come on. This is supposed to be chill. Oh, put it at 4. Better. So the left isn't going to let the right get anything done. The right isn't going to let the left get anything done. That's politics, right? And that's the stuff that when people say, I don't like politics, that's what you should probably not like, is the partisanship and the people fighting and bickering and not getting along and not doing anything truly actionable for the people. I can get with you on that. I hate that side too. So I don't really know if I'm super political when I'm just talking about like, hey, wear a mask. I don't think that's political, but it has been made that way. And so that's just the reality of where we are as people right now. And that part, the part that's been shown to us for the last 4 years, you can't just write off as, well, it's just politics. Because it's not normal. Like, none of this is normal. None of this is, like, right. None of this is good. So, if you have a chance and you look at my Twitter, and you're like, wow, he is very political, I want you to stick with me for a little while. Because I don't feel like I'm that political. There's just sometimes where some things just feel right, and some things just feel wrong. And I'm going to mention it. Now, I will tell you, I'm far more politically engaged in actual politics than I've ever been in my entire life. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, and I want to get into that kind of stuff. But that's going to probably be some of the stuff I might post up as a video eventually. I would love to put something out about where I am politically, where I'm leaning, where I've changed my mind, as sort of a place that I can push people to that whenever they're like, so like, what are you? Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you liberal? Are you a filthy liberal? And I can push them to a video that's just like, hey, here's kind of sums up how I see the world, and how you see the world is typically going to inform your politics, because that's what it is. Your worldview is your politics, but okay. It affects your politics for sure. Maybe it isn't specifically your politics, but it affects it. So I want to put out a video like that, not to stir the waters, not to point fingers, not to become some kind of political streamer, but to be able to point people to it and just say, hey, this is where I'm at. And I think you'll find that my position is a lot more nuanced than maybe you think it might be. You might glance at my Twitter and think you know exactly about where I stand on a lot of stuff. And you'd probably be right on most of it, but it doesn't mean, because I agree or disagree with a certain political candidate, doesn't mean that I agree with everything they say. And that's kind of what's gotten us into the mess in the last 4 years. You need to call out what you don't like. And you need to say what you do like. Just hiding behind, oh, I don't like everything about so-and-so. It's not enough. You need to call out what you don't like. You need to say it. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to be consistent with that in the next 4 years. So yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, @Nonder. The 0 is, or the O is the 0, obviously. Gamer. But that's just a little dose of what you might see on there. Don't hate me. Because that's not politics, you know? It is just being people. Small Levi. Yep, gamer moment. Talking about the